That was a huge learning opportunity for me about a different culture. Lots, everything is transferable skills, right? From leadership to teaching, from teaching to leadership as well. So I think it's all interconnected. Nothing goes in isolation in my world. For me, everything is interconnected.
Kia ore e whakoutou, haere mai ki te kōrero, te ara whānui ki te rangi. Ko Oscar tōku ingoa. I'm here with Arthi and Voice of Aroha. And we're introducing Prabha. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you.
Oh.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. First of all, tēnā koutou katoa, namaste and greetings. I'm Prabha Ravi, and I would like to say a big thank you to Oscar and Aarti today, who are going to be challenging me with a few questions. I hope they're going to be easy and nice for me to share some of my insights. And also, can I say a big thank you to Voice of Aroha for this beautiful opportunity. In terms of introduction, I am an migrant from India. Migrated to New Zealand about 28 years ago with my husband and 2 children, and built my career. They were 3 and 4 when we migrated, and now they are 30 and 29, and I've got 3 grandchildren as well. So that's really special. So most of my career has been in New Zealand.
Awesome.
I am a management consultant, a governance trainer, and also founder and creative director of 3 organizations, Natraj School of Dance, Grow Consultancy Limited, and Namasankirtanam Group.
Wow, multidisciplinary skill set. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
So cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How did you find it coming to New Zealand and setting up a life here?
Being a dancer, I have traveled quite a bit when I was growing up to many countries and performed. And when I was about 19 years old, I had this wonderful opportunity to represent India as a youth ambassador to Canada for 6 months on a cultural exchange program.
Wow.
So that was a huge learning opportunity for me about a different culture.
Wow.
When you
So
go and
cool.
travel for performances, it's quite different. But when you live in a country, it's a very different experience. So for me, representing India, and you are an ambassador of India, so you really are in a space where you need to be proud of where you've come from and what you're representing, but also be open to what's there. What am I learning from there? Because it was a cultural exchange program with Canada. With the Canadians, they came to India and they were there with us for 3 months. And so it was a beautiful intercultural learning program.
I feel
sounds
like
great.
both of you would have learned a lot. Like
Yeah,
for Canadians to
huge.
go to India, that's a huge learning curve.
That's right.
And to go to
That's
Canada
right.
as well, that's been on my bucket list for years.
Yeah.
So cool.
That opened my mind to what else is there and what are the opportunities.
Yeah.
Having born and brought up in India, I know the push and pull factors and all the challenges that you have to go through, because when you are in your mother's womb, you already have a goal that you need to achieve. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere in India. It's like that.
Yeah.
Whereas when I went to Canada and I lived there, I realized that at any stage you can start a career. At any stage you can do anything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a goal while you are 2 years old. When you
Yeah.
are 2 years old, to be able to achieve something. So
You can learn and figure it out on
exactly,
the way.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So
yeah.
when I came back to India, I was quite determined that my children should be getting that opportunity to grow as children, because half the time when we were growing up as someone with a goal right from the beginning,
Yeah.
aspiring to become something.
Yeah.
Whereas in that process, you really lose your childhood, and you're not really being a child,
Kinda
because
hustling
you're
the whole
always
time.
working towards
Yeah.
something. And so for me, I wanted my children to be children, but at the same time, having the Indian blood in me, Asian blood in me, I was also pushing them to have small goals for their age to
Yeah.
achieve, and slowly build them up to understanding that they need to work hard to get anywhere in life.
Yeah. I think that's really beautiful, especially bringing them here and creating such a beautiful life for them as well, because you want them to have such a good childhood. I think that's really inspiring. I have a question for you, and I wanted to know, did you always know that you wanted to go into these leadership and governance positions? Like, how did that start? Where did that come from?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I was very driven, right?
Yeah.
I think from the time I was born.
Ambitious, yeah.
Awesome.
Probably, I think my mom, she's not alive now, but
Yeah.
she might have probably told my dad that this woman is kicking, this child is kicking me so much.
Energetic.
I'm wanting to get out and just get there and do what she
Yeah.
needs to do.
Motivated.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm a very, very self-motivated person, very driven, and
Yeah.
for me, everyone is a teacher to me.
I love that
So,
attitude.
that's so
For
cool,
me,
yeah.
everyone is a teacher. So, and I get inspiration from everyone. I get inspiration from Oscar. I get inspiration from Aarti. I get inspiration from everyone around me.
Yeah.
And I will say, yeah, that's a cool idea. Maybe I need to see if I can do something about that idea.
Yeah.
And it could be for the community. It could be for myself. It could be for my children. It could be for my family, for my students, anything.
yeah.
But I would always be in a space where I am inspired
Yeah,
and try to inspire as well.
definitely.
I think that's
But
really
I mean,
interesting.
that's not normal for me to try and inspire people.
Yeah.
But very normal for me to get inspired
Yeah.
by anyone, even 2-year-old child. I have my 3 grandchildren. I look at them and I wonder, wow, I love the way the brain is processing, how the brain is, playing with that toy.
And learning in real time.
Learning in that thing. So
Yeah.
that's an inspiration for me.
Yeah.
So it is. So it's so cool to just observe and be inspired.
That's awesome.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you learn from the people around you and feel so inspired about people around you,
Yeah.
and then also take the initiative to take those ideas into next steps or into the community or into further actions.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, that's a cool idea, but then they don't necessarily know how to take that next step or to connect it with other people. But it sounds like you've been really proactive in doing that.
Oh, absolutely. Because from my dance students who are 5-year-olds, I'm learning how they are processing, and then I go to my grandchildren. I'm learning how they are playing and what they do, and both are teaching me something all the time. So it could be a teaching, it could be a learning, but it could also be an inspiration to do something with it. So doing something with it
Yeah.
is the kick that I get
Absolutely.
with whatever
Yeah.
I learn. So that has got no limits, I guess.
I love
can,
that.
So
You can
cool.
do it even midnight at 2 a.m. because your mind is actually thinking, okay,
Yeah.
I saw Aarti doing this, or I saw this person doing this, and I want to, how can I develop on that?
Yeah.
What to do with it?
Do you think one of the reasons, because you mentioned you were a dance teacher, is that you enjoy learning from your students as well?
Of course,
Yeah.
all the time. I think I'm becoming better and
Yeah.
better. And I've become confident of my teaching abilities
Yeah.
because of my students.
Yeah.
Because of the learning that I have derived from the way they learn. So I have learned so much pedagogy, and my pedagogy is adapted to observing, just simply learning from my students.
That's beautiful.
That's so cool that you've gather those pieces and collect them over time,
Yeah.
and improve that process as you go. I think that's
Yeah.
really interesting. For your dance lessons and your dance career, does that have any lessons that you've taken into your leadership space?
Lots. Everything is transferable skills, right?
Yeah.
From leadership to teaching, from teaching to leadership as well. So I think it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Nothing goes in isolation in my world.
Yeah.
For me, everything is interconnected.
Absolutely.
So when you are a leader, leadership for me is not just you say and others follow. Or it's not about that. It is about inclusivity, and leadership is about developing others to become leaders.
Yeah.
So that is leadership to me. I don't think that I will be a great leader if I have acquired all the skills and just keep it with me. That to me is a failed leadership model. But if you are able to nurture and train and support or mentor or help people to believe in themselves, to believe that they can be a leader.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like there's nothing separate as leader.
Yeah.
It's anything you do it with a great amount of connection to what you're doing and with the genuine, interest
Yeah.
to ensure that that act that you're doing or whatever you're doing is going to be reaching the audience in the right way.
I
Whoever
love
your
that.
audience is. So
Yeah.
that's leadership.
I love that
Leadership
idea
is-
that anyone can be a leader.
anyone can be a leader.
Yeah.
It's not a skill set as such that you have to acquire
Yeah.
or you are born with. I know, I do agree that some people are naturally bold or naturally confident.
Take risks
Yeah.
or whatever.
Naturally take risks. Those are all elements of leadership.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
One of them
everyone
on
has
their
got
own.
something about their character or personality that could easily be transformed to leadership. in my
Definitely.
view.
I really like that actually.
That's
So
beautiful.
there's
Yeah.
not this is leadership or that's not one thing. It's a combination of
Yeah.
several things, and knowing what your strength is and working on that and trying to develop that to enhance your capability of being a leader in that space.
I think that's really beautiful.
That's
And I think
beautiful.
you're a wonderful person to have as a community leader, someone especially that young people can look up to and think, wow, even I can get involved and do so many different things. So for you as a leader, who is your inspiration? Who do you look up to?
I told you in the beginning
Yeah.
that everyone is an inspiration for
Yeah.
me. There's no one person
Yeah.
inspires me. Every single person, every single thing that I look at
Yeah.
is an inspiration for me.
I love that attitude as being a lifelong learner. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's so important. And one of the things you were saying earlier, like, it reminded me of that saying, like, we can shine bright to help either light other people's lights or to help them shine brighter, Like,
Yeah.
if we play to our strengths and if we do what we can do well, then we can allow space for other people to do what they do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, that's more interesting.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's more satisfying.
Mm.
I stopped performing when I was, I think, 37 or 38. I'm not going to tell you my age, but 37 or 38, many years ago. But I stopped because every time I was approached for a dance performance from my school, they were asking me to perform, not my students to perform.
Yeah.
And for me, that was not really sitting well with me because I've got so many talented students who are all wanting to perform and show off their talent and
Yeah.
showcase their skill set. And for me, being approached to, no, this is a very high profile program. This is at the parliament or this is somewhere. We would like you to perform, ma'am. Or, Prabhaji, we want you to perform. So I said, okay, unless I stop performing, I'm never going to be able to give an opportunity to my students. So I made this conscious decision
Yeah.
of saying, no, today is my last day of performance. I'm not going to perform anymore. So let my students get that opportunity to perform. And now they perform everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Literally
awesome.
everywhere they are being invited to perform, be it a very small event where there are only 2 people sitting and watching, or hundreds of people and thousands of people like the Diwali festivals and big festivals as well. So it's so satisfying because I see the happiness in the parents, I see the happiness and the confidence in the children.
And the growth curves.
And the growth curve. And then the community is really enjoying seeing so many people being developed and learning the art form and thriving in that space.
Yeah.
So that's more satisfying for me than me being there and performing and saying, Oscar saying, Prabha, you were an amazing dancer. Okay.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
my kids? What about my students?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to be more, because they are the ones, it's their career now.
I think
I've had enough and more opportunities
Yeah.
by His grace, enough and more opportunities to perform in some of the high profile, festivals and events, and also in many countries as well. So that's enough. You need to have a space where you feel contented, satisfied, and say, okay, I've had my opportunity, now it's these kids' opportunity.
I think that's really humble and really mature to to be able to see the experience that you've already had and to help platform other people's experience. I think that's an amazing capacity of leadership, is to help grow the rest of the garden.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And speaking a bit on your journey with the arts, you were also recently in a short film, is what I heard. Would you like to talk a little bit about your very exciting experience with that and tell us how you found that?
Award-winning was what I heard.
Award-winning, yeah. Best Actor Award, was that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting story how I was approached. I saw a small ad, and just random ad, mentioning that they are looking for aged woman like me. I'm not going to say middle-aged or older woman or younger woman. A woman of my age who has got no acting experience, no background in acting or anything like that, for a short film. So I said, I was intrigued. More than anything else, I was intrigued to know what was that opportunity, that's all. So I just sent a message to whatever that email ID was, saying, hey, look, I'm interested to know more about this. Can I have a little bit more information? This seems very interesting. And I meet your requirement for the character that you're looking, in terms of age, in terms of background, and they said South Asian woman and all of those sorts of things.
And not an actor, but internationally recognized performer.
That's
winning. It's a clever sidestep.
So I sent a message, and then I didn't hear from the director. I said, okay, as always, you think, okay, maybe not. And I thought, hang on a minute, I don't give up. That's a big thing about me. I don't give up.
Persistent.
So, so I just sent a message saying, hey, I know probably I've not been shortlisted, but I just wanted to check if, you are still looking, or you found the person. And I said, and he immediately responded saying, no, I'm coming to Wellington. I would like to have a chat with you.
Wow.
He's the director. He was in Auckland. Coming to Wellington, he wanted to have a chat with me. And I said, okay. And he said, can you come for a coffee chat to a certain place? I said, okay, I'll go. I went there, and it didn't feel like a coffee chat at all. He just gave me a script, and he said, Prabhaji,
nice.
Can you read this?
You were hired.
You already got the job.
No, can you please read the script?
I
said, oh, that sounds a bit weird. Okay. And I was reading the script, and then he said, Prabhaji, if you don't mind, I'm just going to give you a small scene to act. I'll put you in a different room. The camera will be there. You just need to he explained what the act is. Can you do that? I'll be in the other room. I'm just watching you. And once it's over, I'll come in. And he asked me to do a certain act, and I said, oh, God, this is
strange.
More than what I expected. I didn't expect an audition.
You did auditions 1 and 2 in the same coffee.
and audition. So I got the audition done, and then he said, okay, Prabhaji, I'm just going around the country and doing some auditions, and I'll come back to you. 1 month gone, didn't hear. Again, you think, oh, okay. Probably they found someone. And again, the same strategy. Hey, just checking if you have shortlisted, and have you found your actor? And he said, or am I still in the game, or it's gone? He said, no, Prabhaji, we've shortlisted 2, and I'm just waiting for my crew to look at the 2 auditions.
Wow.
And you are one of them.
That's
I'm
awesome.
waiting for my crew to look at the audition and choose the person who's been selected.
Wow.
And then I should be responding to you. I'll be connecting with you in a day's time. So next day he calls me and he says, Prabhaji, the crew just loved your audition. And you are there, and you're going to be the actor. The main actor in the film.
So cool.
That's how I got it. I didn't even expect.
That's awesome. I really want to acknowledge your approach in that. Like your initiative to reach out in the first place, and then to keep in touch throughout that process, I think is a really good shout for and lessons for people to learn. Because it just takes one email to the info at whatever, and I'm curious to know more, and then that's a start of a snowball that could lead to opportunities or to being in the film. That's awesome.
I didn't expect at all. Honestly, I thought I'm not at all in the league. I'm
you were wrong.
The league, but that was really
exactly
a great
what they were looking
experience.
for.
Just so cool. And in all your different leadership roles and acting roles, how important has the role of community been, and what does community actually mean to
That's
you?
the driving force.
That's
the driving force. That's what motivates me.
Definitely.
As I said, it's not about leader. It's not about you achieving things
Yeah.
and you being, the best actor or best whatever.
The headliner
It's not
or
about
the-
that. It's about how do you bring the community with you? How do you inspire the community to become what they want to become? And what role can I play in that space to
Yeah.
be able to help them? And if it means that listening to this podcast, someone wants to say, "Oh, like Prabha, I want to be in that podcast."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great outcome of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do that thing. I'm going to send the email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it is more about that community spirit and the community engagement. And you know about my Namasankirtanam group.
Yeah.
It's just an informal group that comes together every Sunday, and we just sing hymns
Great.
and for world peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
all.
we need. We
There's
need way more
nothing
world
else,
peace.
no other motivation in that.
Mm.
It's just families coming together every Sunday, and there's no compulsion that they have to be there every Sunday. There's no compulsion that they have to be in a certain way or whatever that is. It's more about come on and
Be
just
together.
And it's not about how well you sing, how beautiful your voice is. Do you know music or do you
Yeah.
don't know music, or do you know the language that we are singing in? Do you know the God that we are singing in praise of? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just come, do your bit. Even if you recite the word, we will sing, like we repeat. That's the way we do the hymns.
Cool.
So we repeat, and we'll repeat it in the musical way that we want to repeat. Don't worry about what you're doing. So that's
I love that.
so it's just bringing people together and giving them an opportunity to learn from each other, to socialize with each other. The social connection, cohesion, connection is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
I feel very sad with the new generation that they are always on their devices.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, we were just out there on the road, streets, playing with our friends and having a great time, joking about each other and getting to know the people and just having that emotional bond.
Dancing the night away.
Yeah. So unfortunately, now it is more about everybody is very active in the Facebook and social
Yeah.
media space. They say so many things, but when they come in person, they don't know. They don't want to even look at your eyes. Like yesterday, I met one of my former student. She's now in high school. She didn't want to even look at my eyes.
Yeah.
Like too shy or too nervous or like.
I have no idea.
True.
But she didn't look at anybody else either.
Yeah,
I thought
right.
if it was me, then I thought probably because I'm the teacher
Yeah.
and she's shy or she's grown, so she feels a little bit more, what do I say, sensitive about what's around her. But she was not even looking at anybody. So that was like, is it because of the device or is
Yeah.
it because of the age? Because she's a teenager now. It could be that. It
could be that.
It could be so many things.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah,
make
yeah.
assumptions here.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the world, like when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, we never had these kind of things. We will just go play games or dance together or walk together or do things together and have so much fun and come back. So
Definitely.
I think that community spirit is so important, and leadership
Yeah.
is drawn from those things.
Totally.
Those
And-
community
yeah.
connections.
A follow-up question from that is that you recently won an incredible award, the Queen Service Medal. Is that correct?
QSM.
That was in 2012.
Wow.
That's
2016,
Yeah.
sorry, 2016.
That's really cool. And what has gaining this incredible recognition, what does that mean for you personally and also for the communities that you serve?
I attribute it to the community.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not because I have done something that I've been recognized for it. It is more about the community has supported me to do it. If I didn't have students, I can't teach.
You couldn't have a dance school, yeah.
I won't have a dance school.
Yeah.
If the families are not interested to sing hymns, I don't have a Namasankirtanam group.
Yeah.
So it's the community that is giving me that opportunity to do it, and then and when you do it selflessly and you do it with that intention,
Yeah.
then the recognition is not yours. It's
Yeah.
the community's recognition.
Definitely.
I'm only placeholder of
Yeah.
that recognition.
Yeah.
Just sitting and holding it, but very happy to see others getting it as well.
I think that's exactly why you got it, because you're so willing to share it, and I think that's super exciting.
That's the happiness, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Not in what you have, but what you give.
And what you share, absolutely.
What you give. That's
Absolutely.
what you share is what makes you. At least for me, it's really, really the happiest moment is when my student dances on the stage, or my company that I have helped them grow.
Yeah.
It's really thriving. You know, and feeling satisfied that, wow, I was able to be a small little part in that development or in that growth. I have played a small part. Again, even that I don't want to hold on to that. Even that feeling that I have been instrumental in some part is also, I feel, is very selfish.
Yeah.
I don't want to even be in that space.
I love that community focus. And
Absolutely.
in your singing group, you talked about a lot of really interesting things, like social dynamics and how we can improve those, and intergenerational dynamics and how we can be in the space together, and also intercultural dynamics, like how we can learn more from each other by spending more time with each other.
Yeah.
Would you mind speaking more to how
Sure.
you learn and work in intercultural spaces?
Oh, sure. My whole career has been in international education. Fortunately, I've had the opportunity to travel to 47 countries,
Wow.
promoting New Zealand as a study destination,
Excellent.
and being able to interact with so many different cultures.
So you've represented
Including-
India and New Zealand internationally.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
But this was mainly for New Zealand. I was
Cool.
promoting New Zealand as a study destination. So I've pretty much been to almost all the countries in Asia, in South America, and in Middle East, in Europe, so many countries. And the underpinning thing that I have recognized is people are people. Irrespective of what they eat, what they wear, what language they speak, whatever faith they believe in.
They're all experiencing human
are-
experiences.
Yeah, humans are humans. You have the same emotions, you have the same sort of love or anger or sadness or grief or everything. We all go through the emotions exactly the same way.
Yeah.
There's no difference in that. That's my observation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
And
know?
even if we articulate it in a different language or a different worldview, we're often talking about the same things. If we can bridge those gaps and understand what we're saying about the
When
topic,
people
we're
say
often
you're-
talking to the same thing.
sorry.
Oh, no, you
When people say you don't understand the culture, yeah, okay, I'm ready to understand the culture or their environment.
Yeah.
Culture is an environment for me,
Interesting.
and embedded in you.
Yeah.
Completely. You grow up in that space.
Like a social
But-
context.
Yeah, social
Yeah.
context. But at the end of the day, you are a human.
Yeah.
So I want to treat you as another human, and the way I would like to be treated myself.
Definitely.
I love that.
So that's so then you don't really see differences in the culture, because you're seeing them as another beautiful human. The soul is so pure,
Yeah.
and it has got so much to offer. Probably it has just had some difficult times, and it's behaving in a certain way because of the challenges it's been through. So if you can put it in that context and not get offended by, why is he or she saying this? Just understanding that, okay, probably he or she has had a bad day or bad time, she's going through a bad space.
Like that
Okay.
sense of perspective to
Yeah.
contextualize it.
So what would I do if I had to go through that sort of a challenge? What would my thing? So just putting in context about how you would react,
Definitely.
and then having that lens to it is
Yeah.
really important in the way
that's
you
beautiful.
would handle things with people. So then the culture dynamics doesn't really affect,
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
view, from my experience over the 28 years. That's
feel like
my experience.
That kind of positions you as a guest or willing to learn more about other cultures and not like threatened by, you know?
Not threatened by.
Yeah.
Because as I said, every student is a teacher to me.
Yeah.
Every culture is
Yeah,
a teacher
yeah.
to me.
Definitely.
Everywhere you can learn something.
Yeah.
There's always something good. Even from the bad, you can learn.
Absolutely. Sometimes
If
they're
you-
really important
yeah,
lessons.
so even from the bad, you can say, okay, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
Is there a better way for me to express that instead of expressing the way I've just heard?
Yeah.
So that could be a way. So you can learn from everything. So culture
Very cool.
is is for me a beautiful extension of the human,
I love that.
more than just the human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
extension of the human based on the environment you are being
Yeah.
brought up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and how you relate with that culture with others.
Yeah. I love that that's like all cultures are, we're all human. I love that that's like a central focus for you. I think that I can see how that helps to learn a lot of different lessons and to connect with a lot of different people and to kind of remain open to all of those lessons. I think that's awesome.
Because sometimes when people roll their eyes saying, oh, here he comes, oh,
Yeah.
boring, or he's so annoying, what
Yeah.
is this? Hang on a minute. You know, what is it in that person that you can actually
Learn from.
learn? Not
That's-
even learn.
yeah.
How can I make that person be more happier or
Yeah.
more interesting?
Included as well.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed is sometimes when people are sitting in a social environment, when they're sitting alone, I would actually pick that person and go and have a chat with that person. Because that person is the one who wants to be heard.
Yeah.
Or they are quiet because of various reasons. Similarly, in a room, I would like to go and say, hey, how are you? How are you? Everyone.
Yeah.
Acknowledging everyone.
Acknowledging
It
the
just
people,
brings
yeah.
that specialness for them that, okay, I'm actually being acknowledged.
They've been seen in
Even
that
if it's
space.
a 3-year-old, I would go in my group, I would go and say, hey, how are you? How's your day today?
Yeah.
They feel very special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
cute. It's just giving them that mana.
That
Yeah.
genuine connection.
Yeah, giving them that importance. You may be a 3-year-old, but you're still a human.
Still a human,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You're still a human developing.
I have really enjoyed hearing about your journey, and I also
Absolutely.
really quickly want to bring to the front one of your most recent exciting parts of your journey, and that is standing to be mayor of Lower Hutt, which is amazing. So clicks for Prabha.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about why you made that decision, but also what you want to get out of that position if you were given it, and how you would want to serve the communities in Lower Hutt.
Absolutely. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about it quite a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that are happening across the country and in the Hutt.
Yeah.
I think I can change.
Yeah.
I think I can make a difference. I think I can be a bold, strong leader.
Yeah.
When I say bold, strong leader, I'm not afraid of change.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's not going and bossing people, but it's about not being afraid of changing things that are not working.
Yeah.
And actually looking at, as I said, I'm a maths graduate. So for me, it's always the solution focused
Yeah.
nature in me that I'm thinking. So I think the Hutt needs new leadership, new energy, fresh perspectives, and also female. It's never seen a female mayor.
Yeah. Really?
So I've put myself forward. So
That's
I
awesome.
think there will be some new thinking I will bring to the
That's
table
beautiful.
if the people give me the mandate to serve them.
Oh, I think you'd be great in that
Responsibility.
Yeah,
role.
with your knowledge,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
education, intercultural communication,
Community
You've had-
emphasis.
Yes, such an inspiring journey. And
Thank
to
you.
wrap this up, we would love to ask you to tell one message of hope or some advice to our listeners. What would you tell them?
I would say if you are young, get out of your device and just be out there talking
Yeah.
and mixing with people and just energize each other. If you are an adult like me, when I say adult, older adult like me, just don't give up. Age is only a number. So you
That's
can keep
beautiful.
going as long as you can keep doing it with the spirit of well-being.
Beautiful.
I love that. We need everybody involved for sure.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for taking the
Thank you.
time to come talk with us. We
Thank
still
you.
have one more thing, which is a tradition we do with all our guests. Oscar, would you like to explain?
This is the question left by the last guest. So baklava is originated from which country?
Turkey.
Wow.
Excellent. I was thinking Turkey, but I was like, is it?
Is it turkey? Yeah. It's okay. We got it confirmed. Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio today. We had a great conversation with you. We learned so much about your leadership journey as a community leader and also just as a really wonderful person. Thank you for taking the time. And we're excited to hear more about your journey.
Kia
So,
ora.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Oscar and Aarti.
Thank
Always great to talk to young people with so much energy. And Voice of Aroha is a great organization, and I've been following Voice of Aroha and supporting as much as I can by attending some of the meetings that you have got or events that you have as best as I can. But I wish Voice of Aroha all the very best to keep continuing the good work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora. Thanks so much.